Welcome back, everybody, to Beyond the Veil of Dark Night. I am having my good friend Bill Dean on the show. We're going to talk about how he became the most haunted man in America, and also how he started writing his books on the Dark Forest, 10 Steps to Victory, and I think it's like 10. There's also his book called Delivered. His first book, Dark Forces, I think it's still being worked into a motion picture, I do believe. So we'll be talking to him all about that. He's also made appearances on a Haunting and many other TV shows. Before we get to talk to Bill Dean, I just wonder how many people are excited about when the new season of Walking Dead is coming back. Can't wait for that. It's going to be more gruesome. Supposedly, there's also a family-friendly version of Walking Dead coming as well. I'm not sure how that's gonna play out, but it's gonna be one of those things. It's gonna be making its rounds to TV. Another TV show that are coming, if anybody got into the so-called mini-series Rosemary's Baby, which I didn't understand it or really cared for, but the two-parter. So is everybody ready for the new season of the originals to come back? I'm very excited to see that. I like how they're going to, play this whole entire new characters, like how there's going to be a new character playing Esther and Finn. So and also they brought back Michael as well. I'm not sure how that's all going to play out quite yet. And supposedly there's also some more major characters coming to that. And there's also a new TV show called The Flash coming on the CW. I think that's this fall. Let's see here. So I just hope everybody has a good time to see all those, really cool, shows that are coming out. Walking Dead's coming back in October. A lot of really interesting, cool shows are really coming. I really can't wait to see Dark Force as a movie. So, we're gonna talk to Bill about that as well. So, it's gonna be one of those, really good TV, like movies and stuff like that. I got into The Haunting when I first seen Bill Dean on the show. Then I had him on my show a few times. Throughout the, I think it was 1 or 2 years, I think I had my show, I do believe. I'm also going to be doing a poll here on Facebook at the end of my show to get people's opinion on certain topic and guests I had on my show, what people want to see more of. I just want to give my listeners a totally different, feel and spin on Beyond the Veil of Darkness. My show is not always about the paranormal. I have all kinds of varieties of guests coming on. It's I just want to give everybody a different taste of what's out there. I've opened so many eyes to people about the guests who I had on my show. I know a lot of people might not like the guests I have on my show, but it's if you don't want to listen to it, it's fine. I'm not forcing anybody to listen to my show, but I've had so many, wonderful guests. I had, my good friend Alaska Thunderfuck on my show. She's been on my show quite a few times. I've been giving people a side of Beyond the Veil of Darkness where it's just, LGBTQ guests on my show. I just want to give people, what they want and what they want to hear. I'm going to be doing more of LGBTQ guests on my show here in a couple weeks. At the end of August, I am having Sharon Needles. She's the season 5 winner of RuPaul's Drag Race. So I'm going to be talking to her about how Sharon Needles came about and how she had left Iowa to come to Pittsburgh and stuff like that, and how she got onto RuPaul's Drag Race and how, winning the I just had one, just one, this song, how she got into also doing music, how also RuPaul's Drag Race changed her life, and after winning the crown and making all like the headlines to RuPaul's, to traveling all over the world, in the United States, Canada, stuff like that. I'm going to have a lot of really interesting people coming on my show here very soon. After my show's over, I'm going to hold the poll. I'm probably going to hold the poll on DTM with Good Radio's page on Facebook to see what all the listeners want to see or hear on my show. Just give me your honest opinion. You can be brutally honest, if you want to. I'm the most brutally honest person you can ever meet. I'm like, especially when people ask me for my opinion, I just give it. So, I want to throw this out to everybody. I am currently working on my charity event for 2016. We're going to be holding my charity event in Charlottesville, Indiana. I can't really name the location right now. I'm under contract with the owner of the place. So, this event is going to be benefiting the Ronald McDonald House here in Columbus, Ohio. All the proceeds that's been made from the event will be going to the Ronald McDonald House, to help with whatever they need with money and stuff like that. They just added on a new wing for the place. I just went there not too long ago to get a tour of the place and met a few families that were there with their children, because their children were right across the road at Children's Hospital for getting life-saving surgeries, chemotherapy, dialysis, if they have failing kidneys. I went through this with my niece. She was on dialysis. She got her kidney transplant not too long ago, so she goes back and forth every once in a while to make sure everything's all healing up nicely and stuff like that. She's going to be celebrating her 20th birthday here in a couple weeks. So I'm so proud of her, pulling through and living life to the fullest. It's also a joy to be an uncle, to be her uncle and stuff like that. If anybody hasn't read any of Bill Bean's books, I highly recommend, starting with Dark Forest, then Delivered, and then 10 Steps to Victory. Basically what the Dark Forest book, Bill tells a story about him and his family living in a haunted house in Maryland. I think it was like in the 60s and 70s, I do believe. He talks about that, talking about, his mom in his book and his dad in his book. And then Delivered is more kind of like a sequel to Dark Force. It kind of talks about like UFOs and like I think also talks about demonic possession. I do, but I can't really remember. I haven't read Delivered in a while. And also 10 Steps to Victory. It's basically more like if you're rebuilding your faith with God and you're building your faith within you and rebuilding your faith in people and trust and all that. It kind of like that's like a stepping stone. It's how you rebuild everything in time. How time allows. You just can't like really jump into all 10 steps. It's kind of like I for example I watched what's it called? Too Long Flu Things and Things Julie Newmar. It has like Patrick Swayze, Wesley Snipes and Johnny Examo. They all dressed up like drag queens, and they and Johnny Examo's character is kind of like asking Patrick Swayze and, you know, Wesley Snipes, how many steps is there to be a drag queen? And they go 4, and they go, and they you know, every in each scene, you know, John Leguizamo's character, you know, gets to the final, gets to each step, to the point where, you know, he graduates as a drag queen, you know, and it's kind of funny, you know, where, you know, there's like 4, and it's like, you know, and they go, you know, what are the steps, and, you know, and they keep on telling you throughout the movie what the steps are. You know, that's one of the first movies I ever seen, like RuPaul in. You know, she was in that. You know, she had her own TV show in the 90s. I think it was like on VH1, I do believe, or MTV or something like that. But, you know, she had like all these kind of different, you know, things about her. She had all these different transformations. And, you know, it also had the real Julie Newmar in it. You know, I'm guessing she should have been about like 70, maybe like early 70s or late 70s, I do believe. I'm not really sure on that. She was like I think she was like the original Catwoman, I do believe. Can't really remember. I should know this. I should know my history. But I mean, she was like Catwoman and all that, in the black and white versions of Batman and stuff like that. You know, they also, if anybody hasn't gotten into, it's a new show called My Haunted House. I watched it. It's really good. You know, if I could tell a story about my house that I live in right now, you know, I think everybody will get upset because you know, it's like some people don't like to talk about the paranormal activity in the news today. I mean, I think some of it, you know, it's kind of like blown out of proportion in a way. But I mean, for like the My Haunted House, it's kind of like TV show. It's kind of some of it's kind of blown out of proportion. I mean, it's kind of like, you know, it's kind of dramatization. It's like some of it, you know, may have happened, some may have not happened. You know, you really don't know, you know, what really happened. It's kind of like the can't think of the name of the TV show right now, but you know, it's about that. I also got done watching what was it? I think it was like Sharknado 2. And man, the CGI is bad in that. I mean, bad. I mean, you know, they could have done better on a CGI, but you know, I mean, I can understand like probably like a low budget movie. I can understand that. And I went digging around. I found where they're going to be doing a Sharknado 3 in 2015. I'm like, how many of those TV shows, how many of those movies are they going to do? I hope they don't do like you know, like 13, like Friday the 13th or anything like that. I hope they don't do that, or do like how you know, like the Nightmare on Elm Street and stuff like that. There's also, I was reading somewhere online where they are doing a remake of Stephen King It in 2014 or 2015. It's one of those two years where it's supposed to be coming out, and I didn't find out a whole much about it. It was, you know, it's a remake and stuff like that. I'm not sure if they're going to have the people who are in it the first time as the adults, even when they have children or not. I don't know how they're going to do that. But there's also a remake of oh Lord, what was it? I'm trying to think of the movie. What was it? I think they're doing a remake of no, I can't remember. I can't remember the name of the movie now. I think they're doing another sequel to I think it's Nightmare on Elm Street. I think they're doing another one. I think. I don't hold me to that, but they're also doing I think they're getting ready to do Thundercats. I can't wait to see that. I wonder how they're going to do that for Thundercats. I know they're doing one for Voltron. You know, they did a remake of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which I'm not going to go see because, I mean, look, I don't know. I mean, I like, you know, it was before, like in the 90s, where it was like, you know, it was, you know, the story is in the remake, they're supposed to be, you know, coming from outer space. You know, but, you know, that's how Michael Bay is doing it. They're not going to be, like, in the sewer and get all the green goo on them, and they're going to be, coming from outer space to fight the Shredder and all this. I don't know. I haven't seen it yet. There's another movie I want to go see. I can't remember the name of it, but it's supposed to be based on the catacombs in Paris. I went to go see Deliver Us from Evil. I have to say, if anybody hasn't gone to see that yet, I highly recommend it because it's one of those psychological, mind-screwing movies. It's kind of like Paranormal Activity, but more, it's not like Paranormal Activity, but more, darker to the point where it's, it's more psychological than, silly. It's so psychological, you don't know what's going to happen until you're actually watching it. I got to see that. I got to see, I think it was, can't think of the name of the movie. I think it was I'm going to go see the new Transformers movies. I'm a big nerd about that. I'm going to go see that. So they're going to throw this out there, everybody, too. It's they are about to release the movie called Annabelle. It's about the doll that was in The Conjuring. So that's coming out October something. I think it's October 1st or October something. I don't remember when, but I'm going to go see that for sure. I wonder how they're going to play on that. I can't wait to see that. I'm not a really big fan of dolls. Dolls terrify me. I don't like dolls. I won't go in a room with dolls or anything like that. Dolls just weird me out. Completely weird me out. It's like one of those things where, if you don't like clowns, you won't go to a circus. If you really want to, make me go crazy, not literally, but you just you have a whole entire room full of dolls, not telling me that there's dolls in the room. Because I don't like dolls. They're creepy, they're weird, I don't know. It's just weird. I also got into what was it? I've been rereading Anne Rice's vampire novels. She wrote a new one. It's called the Prince Lestat. It's coming out in October. Can't wait for that. I've been getting into a lot of more reading type stuff. Got into I read Anne Rice's new one. It's called A Wolf's Gift. It's about werewolves and all this and stuff like that. That was really good. And then I'm not really into politics and all this, but I actually got to meet I can't think of her name now. Hillary Rodham Clinton not too long ago. I got to meet her. She was really lovely, so got to meet her. I went there because a friend of mine was a big fan of her, so went with him to go see her and stuff like that. I also got into this new TV show called Witches of East End. It's kind of play on Witches of Eastwick, but in this TV show it's about a family of witches, and they came from Asgard and stuff like that. And the mother is immortal, and if her children die, they're reincarnated and blah 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 blah. They grow up and have powers, and they don't live that long, and they get reincarnated over and over and over again. And then have their Aunt Wendy, who's familiar. She basically she had 9 lives, and now she's down to 1. It all ties into how they were banished to Earth and stuff like that from Asgard and all this. It's just really weird. But if you like that kind of weirdness, that TV show's for you. I got done watching a movie called Immortals. It's basically it's about the Greek gods and all that, how they protect all the immortals on Earth and stuff like that. And they're supposed not to interfere and all this. And they also talk about the Titans and all this. I am so bummed out right now because this is the final season of True Blood. I haven't seen it all yet, I don't want no spoiler alerts or anything like that. 'Cause, I want to see how it all ends. I wonder who's going to end up with Sookie. I tell you the truth, I think Bill's going to end up with Sookie. I mean, the really one I really wanted. I'm hoping he didn't get killed off yet, but I got to watch it for myself. But I'm hoping maybe Bill might end up with Sookie, or it might be the werewolf or whatever. I don't know. Things I just wanted to just show to fall in place. I didn't really read the books per se. I mean, a lot the books like the Sookie Stackhouse novels. Some of the characters are dead in the book, and they're alive in a TV show and stuff like that. That's why I don't read them, because it's like, why read the books if some of the characters in the book are dead, but in the TV show they're alive? That's why I don't read those books. But it's been one of those chaotic couple months. Just been haven't had internet access because my phone crapped out on me. I'm just like just like one of those stressful days. But I'm also just rewatching all of my I've been watching this new show. It's called The Orange is the New Black. I've been watching that. I really like that show because it gives you a taste of everything that's in the world today. It's like I think it's on its second season. It's working on its third. So you have to watch it on Netflix or get the first season on DVD. But you just gotta go from there and watch it. I mean, some people might love it, some people might hate it. I mean, I love it because it's like it has one of my favorite actresses in it. I mean, it's one of those things. It might not be for that type of person. I mean, if you're into my sense of humor, where it's like it's kind of serious at first, and it's all all funny, and then it gets serious. It gets funny, it gets serious. I also got done watching what was it? I can't be meaning a TV show right now, but it's I have to watch. It was I can't remember. It was a TV show in the 90s. It was. But yeah, it's called. The TV show's called Forever Night. It did 3 seasons, all filmed and shot up in Toronto, Canada, one of my favorite cities in Canada. I mean, I got to find every single location where it was filmed. I loved it. It was one of my favorite occult TV shows in the 90s. They say it started in the 80s and it did a run up to 93 or 96, I do believe. I can't really remember, but it was in the 90s. It was on CBS, I do believe, or something like that. Got into that. That was a really good show. From what I heard, there's supposed to be, I'm not how many people out there who ever watched a TV show called Charmed. They're supposed to be doing an all-new version of Charmed. Supposedly it's supposed to be coming out this fall. I don't hold me to that. That's what I heard. It's supposed to be all new season of Charmed, all new characters and all that. It's supposed to be the children taking over for the show and stuff like that. I don't know if that's true or not, but I mean, don't hold me to that. And supposedly they are doing another can't think of the show at the moment. It's they're supposed to be doing another sleepaway camp movie. If anybody ever seen that, that was basically, you know, in the 80s. And so that was one of my favorite TV shows in the 80s. Yeah, that's one of my favorite 80s all-time TV shows, you know, movies. Sleepaway Camp. It was like low budget. You know, you could definitely tell the blood was definitely no corn syrup or ketchup or whatever you want to use back then for blood. You know, because it was like one of those low budget movies. You know, they got really a lot of really cool, you know, movies coming out. I think they're doing another. I don't really think of the you know, I think they're doing another Exorcist movie, I do believe. I seen the one, but I didn't really care for it. It was dumb the way it ended. So, you know, it's one of those things, you know, you might enjoy, you might not. You know, it all depends on how your sense of humor is, I guess. You know, it's like one of those funny things. You know, you just gotta wait and see until you see it. I mean, I'm a big person for you know, surprises and stuff like that, but you know, it all depends. It all depends on how you see it. I mean, I just want people to have a memorable experience for, like, you know, listening to my show for the first time, or, you know, it's like, or asking me, like, Jason, you know, I want to see this guest on your show, or I want to see that guest on your show. I mean, I'm going to be doing a poll here later and asking all of my listeners on who they want to hear from the most, or the guest. You know, I like to do some paranormal guests here and there. You know, more now my show is more or less focused on the LGBTQ community kind of for right now. I just want to give everybody a totally different spin and twist and feel for Beyond the Veil of Darkness. You know, I don't want to, you know, make people feel bored or anything like that. I just want to give people a different insight on who I am and what my show is about. I know a lot of people probably have met me before, but I mean, a lot of people haven't. So, I mean, people might get the wrong interpretation of me, but, I mean, that's fine. I'm not going to be, like, everybody's cheerleader on everything. I'm like, you know, I don't take sides. You know, I just don't want people to feel that they go like, you know, why do I have these kind of people on your show? I'm like, you know, it's my show. I mean, you know, I want to give everybody a little sample of everything, of the guests, you know, and what I'm going to talk about next. Me personally, I'm probably going to have, probably going to be talking about more about marriage equality here coming soon. I'm going to be talking about, you know, whatever comes to mind. Maybe I'm going to have one of my favorite drag queens back on the show. I'm working on, you know, getting more people interested in that. I mean, I know my good friend Tiffany Geiger, you know, she really loves all the drag queens who I have on my show. You know, she's probably listening right now. She's like, you know, she's like, Jason, you got to have Alaska back on your show. I'm like, you know, she's going to be back on my show for sure. I'm probably going to be doing a Halloween special with Alaska. So, you know, I'm going to be doing that with Alaska here in October. So definitely going to be having Alaska back on for sure. I'm having Sharon Needles on my show at the end of August on the 31st. And then I'm actually going to be going to see Adore Delano on the 31st here in Columbus, Ohio at Axis. So she's going to be performing live at Axis in downtown Columbus, Ohio. I'm going to go and see her during that time as well. I've got so much going on right now. Working on my book, trying to get that all done, doing stuff here and there, going out on my first ghost time here in September. It's been a while since I did an overnight ghost time, so I'm going to be doing that in September with me and my team and stuff like that. Going to be having some new people coming along with me as well. I mean, it's going to be like their first ever ghost time. I mean, they're kind of like, like paranormal virgins. That's going to be exciting. So, we're going to induct them into the paranormal field. Going to get them, doing some ghost times, stuff like that. I'm going to be working on getting some more, like ghost times and stuff like that, because, summer is coming to a close. I'm trying to get some more, ghost times before the weather turns nasty. That's, get from living in Ohio or, like, living somewhere where you get snow. It's like I really don't want snow, but what can you do? I'd rather live somewhere where it's warm, but that's not going to happen anytime soon. I just want people to have fun and, just call in and talk to my guests and ask them questions. I mean, it's feel free. I mean, don't worry, my guests don't bite, metaphorically speaking. I appreciate everybody who calls in and talks to my guests. Because I think, the last time I had Alaska on, we had so many people call in. It was crazy. Alaska had so much fun. She's the sweetest person ever. If anybody who ever wants to have her on their show, just hit me up on Facebook and I will point you in the right direction. If you want, give your show a kind of different spin for like that Sunday or something during the week or whatever. Just give me a shout out and I will, point you in the right direction if you want to have a drag queen on your show or some kind of, famous author or whatever. I had what was her name? Karen Van Hammond on my show. She did a book called Shoe Marks. She's lovely too. She's a sweet lady. If anybody wants to have her on their show, just like go onto Facebook and look up Karen Van Hammond. She did 2 books. I haven't read the second one, but I read the first one, Shoe Marks. So that's a really good read. You might find that at your public library and stuff like that. If you do, just reserve a copy of it and read it. And it'll tell you everything about Shoe Marks, stuff like that. I had my good friend David Ullman on the show. He did a movie called The Last House at the End of the Drive or something like that. It was basically a movie about Sharon Tate and the murders and stuff like that. I had my good friend Barry Kling on the show. I had him. I had my good friend Bill Bean. He's an awesome guy. I never met him yet. So I also had Corvus Nocturnum on my show. If you want to talk about different kinds of religion, if you want to talk about, like if you're a Christian and if you want to talk to him about being a Satanist and stuff like that, he'll talk all kinds about that. And I had I can't remember how many people I had on my show. I had I can't remember who I had on the show. I had Austin Cook on my show from Sci-Fi Killer Contact. I had him on my show. He was a really awesome guy, too, as well. If you want to have him on your show, you can look up Austin Cook on Facebook, and you get in touch with him. I had so many guests. I had Christopher St. Booth on my show. He was really lovely. He was very sweet. I love it. I'm a big sucker for accents. I love accents. I have had so many people, for if you want to have like a drag queen on your show, I've had Alaska on. I had Tammy Brown. I had Angina. I had Pandora Box. I've had so many on my show. A lot of them were so nice and so sweet. I mean, they're the most friendliest and lovely people you can ever talk to. Just dry cleans can sense when you don't do your homework, because if you don't know who they are, you just Google them and see if they have like a website and they have like a bio section. You basically pull up all their bio stuff, and you can ask them questions. What was it like growing up in your home state? As a gay man, or coming in to do drag and stuff like that. I mean, a lot of them are so sweet. I mean, they will understand if you don't know everything about them. They'll just engage them in conversation and ask questions. Just throw things at them, see what their responses on certain topics. It doesn't hurt. It doesn't cost anything to ask questions. Just have fun. Just be yourself when you're talking to them. I met a few of them. They're the most sweetest people. They take the time out to get to know their fans and stuff like that. You just gotta be patient. So I'm also waiting for the new season of Once Upon a Time. They're having a few characters from the movie Frozen, and I'm not sure how that's going to play into it. I really don't know. I personally never seen the movie Frozen. I really don't get into much animation movies per se, that much animation. But if it's like a really good animation, I will watch it. But I just don't get into that much. But I'm more of a sci-fi thriller, slash 'em up, black and white, silent movies and stuff like that. But it all depends. It depends if it catches my eye, I'll watch it. I'm waiting for that to come back. I'm waiting for the TV show called Revenge to come back. I wonder how that's going to happen for the next season of Revenge. So I can't wait for that. I got so much, that I want to talk about. It's crazy. I just want to let people know, if you want to call in, when Bill B will be on the air here about 6:45. So, if you want to call in and ask him questions, feel free. I'm like, you can talk about anything. If you don't know who Bill Bean is, you can basically look him up on Google, and you can find out everything about him. You can find out about his books. You can find out about where he's currently going to be going. So, Bill Bean is a very busy man. You can even, ask him, see if you would, if you have a church that would like to have speakers, you might ask Bill Bean if you would like to be a speaker at your church or a speaker for your event that you're having and stuff like that. I don't know how much time in advance that you will need to ask Bill Bean if you like to be a guest at your charity event or events that you're doing for whatever you're doing it for. I think if I need on there, maybe it's 6 months to a year in advance. I do believe. I'm not really sure on that, but if anybody has any questions about that, you can ask him that. If you can even also ask him about if you want to have him on your show, just ask him about that. Like I said, he's very busy because he's one of those busy people. If you ask him, there's no harm asking. He'll say sure. Let me, he'll set you'll set the date for him to come on your show and how long you want to have him on your show. It's one of those things where there's no harm of asking. Some people say no, some people say yes. It's kind of like a gamble, that people want to do. They want to have people on their show. I always, try to book my guests, like a couple weeks in advance or a couple of days in advance, because, I don't like playing this email tag or phone tag with people's agents, because, it's like I'd rather cut to the chase and actually deal with the actual person. You know, I mean, I'm grateful that, you know, that I had this really good contact for my guests. But yeah, I mean, I'm grateful. I mean, but you just, you know, if you want to have a guest, sometimes you for some of these guests, you really have to go with their agent. Because me personally, I really don't like doing that, but sometimes I have to. Because, you know, I mean, you know, it's so hard to get a really good guest on your show. I mean, I would, you know, me personally, I would love to have Robert Englund on my show. I mean, he's one of my favorite actors of all time. You know, I mean, I watched his Nightmare on Elm Street movies back in the 80s when I was a little kid, but like, you know, I was scared to death of that crap. I mean, really scared to death. You know, I was a big fan of that. I mean, I didn't really fully watch his movies until I was, you know, much older. I mean, you know, it's for an 8-year-old, it really scared the crap out of me. You know, there's 2 people I would love to have on the show, but I hate to speak ill will, but the person that they have for their PR and stuff like that, I hate. I hate. I really hate saying that word, but, you know, the lady, I don't care for her. You know, I mean, every time I try to get them on my show, they're like, they're busy and stuff like that. I'm like, you know, I mean, you know, like, let me know when you're free. Stop playing this bullshit with me to the point where I'm going like, you know, I want to look through my phone and slap her a good one. You know, I mean, I don't like it. You know, there are times, you know, it's like I get so frustrated, you know, to the point where I'm like, going to go lose my mind or something. But you know, I would love to have, you know, Robert Englund on my show. I would love, you know, for me personally, you know, I mean, I would love to have Claire Holt, who plays Rebecca Michelson from the originals on the CW. I would love to have her on my show as well. You know, I would love to have her, Conchita Wurst. I would love to have her as well. You know, but since she's, you know, so well known and popular right now, it's kind of hard. And it's like she's like over in Austria. It's kind of like, you know, a couple time zones away. You know, I mean, you know, I know that her native language is German because, I mean, you definitely tell the German accent in her way she speaks and stuff like that. You know, if anybody doesn't know who Conchita Wurst is, I mean, you can always, you know, find her on, you know, YouTube and, you know, type in Rise of the Phoenix. I mean, that song was, you know, she won the Eurovision contest over in Europe, stuff like that. She herself has like a music video of Rise of the Phoenix. Does that? I mean, she did a cover of Cher's a song called Believe. I'm like, that was really good too. I mean, that, you know, it's you know, I'm just working on different kinds of guests right now. I'm like, you know, I'm gonna, you know, once I know who my guests are, I'm gonna throw them out there so that people know who they are. You know, if you want to call in and ask me questions, you know, feel free. I mean, when I had Alaska on my show, you know, we basically had so many callers. I'm like going like, wow, you know, and we had like so many, you know, viewers asking questions on Twitter, you know, and stuff like that. We really don't get that many questions on Facebook. But, I mean, Twitter is like the hookup. You mean, it's the point where you're going like, wow, you're trying to, you know, like, you know, do your show and stuff like that. You're like, you know, like thumbing through a Twitter and stuff like that, trying to get all your tweets and all that. People asking them questions, you know. Yeah, I'm like, I kind of like lost count on how many questions there were, and it was like, I'm like going like, wow. So, you know, that was crazy. But, you know, like I said, I'm going to have Alaska back on my show. Like, we're going to do a Halloween show. You know, we're going to do that. You know, I'm going to have some more interesting guests coming soon. So, you know, I'll let everybody know who they are, you know, when they're going to be on Beyond the Veil of Darkness. Can't talk today. So Bill Ben's going to be calling him here in a few seconds. So we're going to I'll be talking to Bill Bean because I haven't talked to him in months. He's one of my really good friends. He's like, I call him my brother. He's kind of like the father figure to us paranormal kids. He's kind of like definitely the father figure to that. It's like, especially with some of the kids who didn't have father figures growing up. It's kind of like that. It's kind of like the father figure to everybody. He's like a godsend. He's, if you have, like a problem, he's definitely the type of person who will lend his ear and talk to you. And I find that, very amazing about Bill Bean. He doesn't judge you on anything. He doesn't judge you on, how you live your life, on, what sexual orientation you are. He doesn't judge anything like that. He is truly amazing, and he's awesome. So I adore that about Bill Bean. He's just one of those types of people who don't judge, don't like, oh, you shouldn't do that. That's what I like about him. He's just an awesome person. He's just very well grounded, and welcome back to Beyond the Veil of Darkness, Billy.
Hi, Jason. Thank you so much for having me on. It's always a pleasure to be on with you guys, and it's been way too long since the last time.
Yeah, I know. It's been, a couple months now, Billy?
Yeah, it's been way too long, and it's always great to be back with you. Things are just so busy nowadays that it's really hard to keep track of anything now, Jason.
I can totally understand that, Billy. I've been telling everybody about you and how they can get a hold of your books and how they can get a hold of you through their show and stuff like that.
Oh,
I always tell them that you're the most understanding person ever. Like I mentioned before that you're kind of like the father figure to us paranormal kids.
Well, I thank you so much, my brother. I really appreciate it, and I love you dearly, and I'll always be there for you, and that's my life's work now is to try and be there for anybody and everybody that needs help. Right.
So, Billy, how is Dark Force coming along for movie aspects?
Well, there's been some real ups and downs with that, unfortunately. We had it going to where I thought everything was going along very smoothly, and then all of a sudden the rug got pulled out, and really it's back to square one now, and I changed production companies, and as a matter of fact, the option had run out, and I chose not to renew that option, so it looks like now I've had a couple other offers, and I'm just taking my time with it, but it looks like there is a possibility coming up here to accept one of these offers and then get it going. But it's unfortunate, Jason, but it does happen sometimes, and
it does.
It turns out to be a very lengthy process, and that's what it's been here for the last 4 or 5 years. It's been a very lengthy process, but it'll eventually get done. Right.
Recently, I've picked up your first book, Dark Forest, and I've been rereading that, and I've been reading Delivered and 10 Steps to Victory and stuff like that. And I told a friend of mine about you and stuff like that, and she's very, interested about your 10 Steps to Victory book, but she's not a type of person who believes in the paranormal. She's more religious than anything else. She doesn't believe in ghosts or anything. It's kind of like those people who if she can't see it or touch it, it's not real. Yeah. She's one of those types of ladies. She's more focused on her faith than anything else, which I admire about her.
Yeah, God bless her. She'd love 10 Steps to Victory. I mean, that would be the book for her, because that book from the first page to the last is nothing but goodness, and it's all about faith and building one's faith up and having powerful scriptures and warfare prayers and daily victory prayers and everything else. So it's it's good from the first page to the last. It's just power-packed with God's goodness.
Right. I remember the first time I got that 10 Steps to Victory book, and I'm like, I kept on reading it. I'm like, I wish there was more, but I'm happy for what there is, because I'm like it's kind of like it's awesome. If you are wanting to rebuild your faith with God, that's the book for you. I remember when I told her before I found my faith with God, when I told her I was an atheist, She goes, you're what? And I'm going like, yeah. And she goes, you know, are you ever interested in rebuilding your faith with God? I'm like, I told her at the time I had no desire, but I mean, since I became friends with you, Billy, I've been, you know, rebuilding my faith with everything else. You know, I mean, I had,
God for it.
Yeah, I had so many of my ups and downs, and I talked to you about certain things about going off me and stuff like that. You know, I mean, you basically, I would say you're truly a godsend, Billy. I truly believe that you are a godsend.
Oh, I thank you, my brother. And again, we praise God for everything. And, you know, and I pray each and every day that God can work through me to be a blessing to somebody. You know, that's what it's all about. And we as human beings, we should try to seek to build each other up, not tear each other down. And if we could have that philosophy, the world would suddenly be a better place because people would be striving to do good deeds for each other.
I agree. I mean, are you currently working on anything else right now, Billy?
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm very, very busy. Over the last several months, I've done 7 TV shoots, and I am getting ready to do another one on August 13th, I think it is, for A Haunting. And I've done several shoots with them. I'm the first person in the history of that series to have a reoccurring role in the series. And what's happened here is, you know, as you know, I'm a deliverance minister, and I travel all over the country, and God works through me to deliver people from evil. And A Haunting, and now other shows, are very interested in the work that I'm doing, and so they are featuring many of my cases, and I'm involved in each and every one of those episodes. And so they will be airing beginning on September 14th on Destination America. And I recently did a shoot for Lifetime Movie Network, and that's for a series called Possessed, and that is going to be airing sometime in October. We don't have the exact date yet. When we do, I'll certainly let you know. And I've been very, very busy.
Right. You know, I can only imagine how busy you are. You're probably looking at your schedule on your desk and like, no, that day can't work. No, that day can't work. Yes, that day can work.
That's exactly right. You're exactly right. You know, this is the first weekend that I've been home in God knows how long. I mean, I'm traveling all around the country every weekend, and this is the first weekend I've had home, and I for the next, I don't know, 4 or 5 or so weekends, I will be on the road again. So I mean, it's just it's absolutely amazing.
Wow. Yeah, that is truly amazing because you know, one of these days, Billy, we're gonna have to you know meet and hang out because you know, I mean, you know, I you know, something about you, I mean, it's like makes me want to know you more and like on a friend level and like make sure like how we click and everything as friends and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, you're family to me, that's for sure. And I'll tell you, you know, there's nothing I wouldn't do to help you. And I'm trying to set something up right now in Cincinnati. There's a few venues there. As a matter of fact, I think I'm going to be coming to Cincinnati in November, I think it is. There's an event, Sean Payne Stowe of Ingenuity Talent is having an event in somewhere in the Cincinnati area, and I am going to be appearing at that event. And so, yeah, I'm very much looking forward to that. So how far away from you is the Cincinnati area?
Probably about an hour and a half, depending on traffic.
Oh, well, great. There you go.
Yeah. Just let me know the date, Billy. I'll definitely try to get it off from work and come down and see you. And you'll probably say, hi, Billy. You know who this is. You're like Brother Jason. I'm like, yeah, it's me. I'm like,
that's right. Yeah. That's exactly right. And I'm pretty sure, Jason, that it is the weekend of the 19th and the 20th of wait a minute. Let me make sure. I'm looking at December here. Wait a minute. Let me see. So that would probably be the 17th and 18th of November. Let's see. November, it would be the weekend. I'm pretty sure it's the weekend of the 21st and 22nd. I'm pretty sure it's that. It's the event's going to be then. If anything changes, I'll certainly send it to you. But I'm pretty sure it is in the third weekend of November, the 21st and 22nd in Cincinnati. So I will talk with Sean again and get that confirmation, and I'll have an answer for you on that. But, yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm gonna knock on wood that the weather's gonna be nice that day, because if it snows, you won't catch me going anywhere, because I don't want to get into a car wreck or anything like that.
Right, exactly.
I just want to let you know.
Good.
I just want to let you know about my niece. My niece Kayla, she's doing wonderful after her kidney transplant.
Praise God. We prayed for her. We had a lot of people praying for her, and praise God for her recovering.
Yeah, right now she's giving her mother a run for her money. She can't keep up with Kayla right now, because she's she's kind of giving a ding dong to a diabetic. With all the sugar, she's bouncing off the walls.
Yeah.
She's like that. She's bouncing off the walls. My sister can't keep up with her. It's like, it's amazing, because I haven't seen my niece in a while. I always talk to my sister through Facebook. They weren't even really sure if she was gonna make it through her surgery, because the way
I remember. She is. Yeah. Our God is an awesome God, and He loves us, and He does work miracles, and we praise Him for it.
Yeah, and I also been helping my other niece with her abilities as well. She basically came to me because she thought she was going crazy because of what she was seeing and stuff like that. And my niece, she's probably about I want to say 18 now. She's been going through this for a very long time. And her mother and father didn't want her to talk about it at all. She basically came to me because I was she was the only person that knew that I can do what I can do. I basically told her, ask them what they want. Try to help them if you can. There are times you can't help every soul out there. It's kind of playing tug of war with everything, because it's crazy. It's I have a hard time doing it myself.
It's a very arduous task, to say the least. And when God calls us to these things, we try to do the best that we can do. By God, by the power of God, and we just always hope that we can be a blessing to somebody. Right.
So Billy, have you ever seen this show called My Haunted House on I think it was on Element or something like that, or a travel channel?
I have not. I've heard of it, but I haven't seen it. I watch very little TV, and I never see any of those paranormal shows or anything, but I have heard of it.
Well, there was one particular episode you have to watch. I can't remember what it was called, but it's something about there was it was two friends. They lived in this house. And what it was in that house drove her roommate to sleepwalk and go into this abandoned hospital, and for some reason whatever was taunting her, it pushed her out the window, and they said her friend committed suicide by jumping out of the window, and before that all happened, her friend walked into her room and said something about Yahweh can't help you.
Oh, yeah, well, I was just, I was on that show, and you're talking the Dead Files type thing, the Dead Files show, or is this the My Haunted story here?
This is on My Haunted House.
Okay, now tell me about this again. And where was this at?
I don't know where it's filmed at, but it's basically, talking, they get these people who live in haunted houses, and they tell their story about, how they, what their experience about living in a haunted house and all this, and what, how they, if they moved out of the house due to the haunting and stuff like that. They really don't give you a location where it's where the story's told.
Oh, I see. Okay, so they don't tell you where it's at.
Right. They don't say it's in Van Nuys, California, or Los Angeles, California. They don't tell you what state it's in, stuff like that. So it's not Dead Files or My Ghost Story or anything like that. They don't tell you, where the story's being told and all this.
Okay. All right.
So.
Yeah, I've heard of these things, but I haven't, I've never seen these shows. And, again, I watch very little TV, so I'm kind of in the dark when it comes to these types of, but I have heard of them.
Right. As long as if you heard of them, that's good. I mean, like I don't watch that much TV either anymore because I've been focusing on my my book and my charity event I'm doing for 2016 and trying to get that up off the ground again. Been having one of those episodes lately, and I just don't want to talk about it. It's my life.
We just have to keep fighting, In life, we all have little bumps in the road. I mean, this is part of life. No one has a perfect life. My life is very blessed, and I'm forever grateful and thankful to God for that. However, doesn't mean my life is perfect. We all have little bumps in the road. We all have problems in life, and sometimes we get knocked down, and we just have to get back up. I say that 10 steps to victory. If we get knocked down 1,000 times, we have to get back up 1,001. That's all part of being in faith. And when we're in faith, we have strength and courage. Fear and faith are not compatible. So if we live in a fear state, well, we're living in that negativity, and then that draws all the garbage that comes into that. So we have to remain strong in faith. And when we're super rock hard, just super strong in faith like that, the faith and the strength and the courage go together. And it helps us because when problems come along, we can give that to God, and He'll make a way for us. And He'll make a way for us even where there seems to be no way. He'll make the way.
Right. It's kind of like, you always have to believe in faith, and you can't believe in... I really don't believe in... Some people don't believe in, like, blind faith. I mean, I believe in faith, but it all depends depends on how you see it. It's kind of like, it comes in all kinds of shapes and forms and, and all this. I mean, it's like, I just recently had to help a friend of mine through certain things that he was going through, and tell you what, I literally had a, he had an attachment and all this, and he I mean, to tell you the truth, he looked so horrible, and it looked like he was just like wasting to nothing, and basically whatever was attached to him, it was basically just like feeding off his life force. And I didn't take it home with me or anything like that because I don't need any ghosts in my house.
We bind and rebuke all that, by the power of Yahweh in Jesus' name. We won't have any of that. I basically took all that from him, and cast it aside. And tell you the truth, when like a couple weeks later, I seen him, he was getting back to better, but I mean, it took such a toll on my body. I basically had to I had to recover like 2 months straight because it basically did a real number on me because it's something that I normally don't do. I'm getting to the point where I'm mastering this new ability that I do have, and if you don't protect yourself in a certain way, it'll like psychologically will slap you in the face, and it'll do it'll like just mess you up completely. Yeah, this is why we have to remain steadfast in faith. And it is super important to keep God first, and He will not be second for anyone or anything. So we have to keep Him first, and it's super important to stay in faith like that, because if we stay in faith, then He will cover us and protect us, and He delights when we go on the behalf of others, when we put everything on the line going to help somebody else. God delights in that, and God rewards a man who has the faith, strength, and courage to do these things. That's why He favored David so much, because, David fought a 12-foot-tall giant, and he defeated Goliath by his faith. And David was a man after God's own heart, and God loved him and had forever had favor on him because of his faith. With his faith, he had strength and courage.
Right. So do you believe in the whole entire archangels protecting their chosen human that that would if they are in danger, they would basically will step in and protect them. Do you believe in that, Billy?
Well, for me, everything is based and centered around God. So I follow the path that Yeshua Jesus laid out, to where he said, this is how you should pray. And our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on heaven as it is in the earth, or on earth as it is done in heaven. And give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us of our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us, and lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. So that's, Yeshua laid that out. That's how we were supposed to pray. So we're to keep God first, and then, we call on God. His name is Yahweh. His name was listed 6,823 times in the Bible, and it was covered up with the title of Lord. So wherever you see Lord in caps, it should say Yahweh. So Yeshua, which is Jesus, his Hebrew name is Yeshua, which means Yahweh saves. Yahweh saves through him. So I keep everything right there, and I leave it up to God to dispatch the angels, whether it's the Archangel Michael or Gabriel or whoever he would send out. And I always pray that he sends out 30 of his giant warrior angels to come and carry off any demons that are present. And, I used to bind and cast out, but I don't cast out anymore. I ask God to come and take them. As I'm binding them and then casting them out, I grab them and hand them over to Yahweh's giant warrior angels to carry off, because we have to be careful about the casting out part, because when you're doing that kind of stuff, those things can jump, and they can jump into somebody or they can go into someone else's house. So we have to be careful about the casting out part.
Are you talking about casting out demons and stuff that?
Absolutely. Yeah.
I mean,
again, there's a way to do it, and I, I don't follow a script, although I do have, things on a checklist that I go through that I do, but God also guides me differently in each and every case.
Mm-hmm. So when you're doing the deliverance, do you prepare for this, doing like a meditation or cleansing or anything like that?
Here's exactly what I do before I arrive at the before I even go inside the residence. When I arrive, I say a prayer right out front. I'm asking, Yahweh to bring his giant warrior angels to carry off any demons that are present, to bring peace to the property, the home, and the family. And then I go inside and I say a house blessing prayer. I pray Psalm 91. Sometimes I pray Psalm 23, Hebrews 11. There's different prayers. I just let God guide me in what I'm going to pray, and the Lord's Prayer as well. And I anoint the family members and the victims' heads with oil. I use a mixture of holy oil, holy water, and holy salt. And then we sit down, and I got to be a counselor. I have to be a counselor, and sometimes those conversations are 2, 4, 6 hours or more, and I have to get to the root of the problem of what's going on. Mm-hmm. And it's gut-wrenching, Jason, because these people are suffering, and it's you have to really have a trust with somebody for them to reveal all of their deepest and darkest secrets to you. And it's not that I want to know it, I have to know it, because we're getting to the root of the problem, because we have to get these things up, out, and off so the transformation can take place. It's part of the cleansing and purification, getting all the junk out, because the enemy deals in legalities. So if he feels he has a legal right to be there, he's going to be there.
Right.
He's the original prosecutor. He's the original liar, the original salesman, and the original prosecutor. And he'll take that to God and say, well, I have a right to be here because of this.
Right. So when you deliver people from a demonic possession, when it's all over and done, can you sense or feel anything that's changed in that person?
Oh, no question about it. Yeah, I mean, sometimes in some cases it's an immediate thing, and it's gone forever, and those people go on to flourish in their lives, and it's wonderful. In other cases, it takes time, because it's a transformation. When people have been exposed to trauma, on a lengthy basis for a lengthy period of time, people get used to that. And it's very difficult. You know, we're creatures of habit, so people follow patterns. And it's difficult to break out of patterns like that. So it is a gradual process, and I very much stay involved. And I get these people, you know, built up in mind, body, and spirit to help them move past everything. And then after that, they can flourish. So, you know, I've definitely been on both ends of the spectrum to where it's been an instant thing, and it's great. But I've also been on the lengthy period as well. So, and you can feel an immediate change when someone is under oppression or possession. When you're binding and casting out, and, you know, I ask those angels to come and carry those demons off with chains and gags and boxes, you can feel it leaving. You can feel it letting go of the person, and you can feel the air get lighter in the room. You know, atmospherically there's a change, and it just, you sense it, you know it, you feel it. I mean, it is just a tremendous difference. And you know right away when there is a demonic presence, you know, you feel that. There's a heaviness.
Right.
There is a vibration. You know, we as human beings, we operate on frequency and vibration. And if something is messing with our vibration in that way, again, you know, we can feel these things. God gives us discernment. He gives us a knowing.
Right.
And then sometimes there's horrible smells that come with that as well. You know, the smell of sulfur, the smell of rotten meat. You know, it's these are all telltale signs of demonic presence.
Right.
And
you know, for me,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
For me personally, you know, say if I walk into a building or a house, I can definitely tell if it's haunted or not because the way, like how you said, vibration. I mean, you know, some people are wired differently than others. I mean, if you have an abilities or you have a really good build-up faith with God, you can. It's kind of like, you know, He gives you like a certain vibration frequency where you can sense things or you can feel things and stuff like that. For me, I can tell if there's like a human ghost or like a demonic entity that's living inside the building. For me, for a demonic entity, I just like shudder inside. I kind of like, you know, I'm kind of like a scared boy inside where, you know, I'm like you know, I'm like, you know, I can just sense it and feel it, and it's to the point where I just want to, like, you know, just like, you know, walk out the door, like my tail between my legs, so to speak, and regroup myself.
Yeah, and when a person is, you know, faced with something like that, you absolutely cannot have fear because these things feed off fear. They feed off of all the negative emotions, and it begins with fear. And that's how these things become empowered, and they just grow more and more. And their whole mission is to kill, rob, and destroy. You know, the end game is to destroy that person, which is a target for them.
So do you also believe if you're demonically possessed, do you think it's like the demon's intention is to break down the person in order to take over like their body, and so to speak, like how it can just like live inside you all at once and you won't have control?
No question about it. You know, and I've seen it, and God's worked through me to deliver people who were possessed, and that's exactly what happens. It's these demonic entities come in, and they unplug the person's mind, and they plug in, and the person has no recollection of what has happened and what they've done, and these are very, very shocking and violent outbursts that take place sometimes, and very supernatural things are involved as well. Things like the person's eyes turning black or white, superhuman strength, talking in another language or dialect, a deep masculine voice, you know, taking over for a feminine voice, and levitation. And these, you know, I've seen all these things. And it's, if ever there was a time to say, don't try this at home, it would be here and now. This is something that I urge your listeners not to attempt not to even think about fooling with, because the consequences could be dire. This is a calling. Right. God called me to do these things. This is not something I chose to do. God chose me to do this. Therefore, you have to be careful.
Did you ever have a case where you felt like you couldn't help the person or person?
Well, no. I always, again, with God's power working through me, and it's not my power, it's His power, and I forever praise Him for it. So therefore, He makes the impossible possible. So there's never been a case that I've been involved in that God didn't work through me to help the people. However, there have been cases where the people, and it is up to the people. Now, look, I can stand there all day long, and God can work through me to cast out demons, but if the people are not willing to make changes in their life to keep all those doors closed, well, then those things are going to come back. And unfortunately, there have been some cases, to where they've come back, and I've had to go back again. And it's very unfortunate, but people are free to make their choices. We have free will. God gave us free will. I give people instructions and advice on, what to do and what not to do. And, some people follow it, and some people don't. And it's unfortunate. The ones who don't, they end up having problems again.
Right. It's kind of almost like you're like, if people who don't follow, they're just asking for trouble or begging for trouble. It's kind of like, I always tell people not to mess around with like witches boards or Ouija boards and stuff like that. But I've known so many people who mess with them and stuff like that. I get so many like emails and phone calls about hauntings and stuff like that. There's like a lot of them where I don't have the forte into dealing with that part of the paranormal, because I always, have a team that I know who has that experience with that kind of, haunting. I never really experienced a demonic haunting, but I've been to a place that has a demonic creature that's living inside the building. And, people always say, nothing can hurt me. I'm like, well, if just wait until you get pushed on a flight of stairs or something. Once you get that, you got to know that there's something in there in that building except for you. If you always say that ghosts can't hurt you, they're lying to themselves. They can hurt you. Because I know
again, you have to be very, very careful, when dealing with these types of things, because the consequences can be dire, to say the least.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. For me personally, when I moved into this house I lived in, at the time, I was by myself, didn't have like any like TV or anything like that to watch, or I didn't have my stereo net hooked up yet. Just coming downstairs, and all of a sudden, I was on the landing, and I felt two hands push me, and I went face first down the stairs. I, cracked my head off the wooden frame of the door, and I fractured my ankle, and, I didn't have no way of getting to the hospital or anything like that until I had, I called a friend of mine. I'm saying, so-and-so, can you come and pick me up? Because I fell down the stairs, I cracked my head off the wooden frame, and I fractured my ankle. And he goes, I'll be over in 5 seconds and come and get you. And he basically took me to the hospital. I had a concussion. I did severely fracture my ankle to the point where it was in a boot for almost like 2 months. And here, from what I've seen,
that's terrible. I remember that. Yeah, I remember when you were having that problem.
Yeah, and it was crazy. All I seen was a dark shadow figure. And, I tell you, I haven't seen it lately, but I have new ones coming and going.
You never see it again.
Like I said, I haven't seen it, but a friend of mine is on the side of town I'm living at now. He is messing with stuff that he shouldn't be messing with. There's only so much stuff you can say to somebody before they want to help themselves, before you can help them. And and I
right,
don't like
you
to
can't
say
twist anybody's arm. People
right.
have free will. They're free to make their choices.
Right. And it breaks my heart tremendously to see him do that. But I can't force my help on him because I don't want it to be that type of person.
Right.
I don't
not
want
receiving it. There's nothing you can do. Just pray for him, and we pray that the switch turns on one day to where he may have an awakening and say, oh boy, I'm messing with some bad things here. I need to stop.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm if I'm gonna do, I'm gonna I'm just gonna keep my ear open. It's sad, but it's heart wrenching at the same time. But one of these days he's gonna have an epiphany, in a way, and he'll
hope so.
he'll be like, oh my God, what have I done? And stuff like that. I'm like, me personally, I went through what he was going through, but everybody has their own experiences and what they go through.
And it's all part of the journey, Jason. Believe me, I couldn't be where I'm at now had I not been there experiencing all those terrible things, and now God has me in the position to be someone that can help other people because I've been there. So we praise God for that. And I wanted to tell you that Sean got back to me, and the date for that event is November 14th through the 16th, and it's at Sedumsville.
Oh, hey, Billy, FY, can we talk after the show? Because I want to tell you about this place.
Okay, yeah, I don't know anything about it. All I know is she asked
I will
me to
tell
be
you about it. It's I don't know how much far in advance you would. I'll just tell you about it because it'll be up to your judgment because I don't want to see you get hurt or anything. But but I'll tell you about it. But
okay.
It's kind of like when you were growing up and living in the house in Maryland, did that lead up to who you are now experiencing?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. All those things, God had a plan for me then, to go through all that suffering, which was many, many years of suffering and physical attacks, which greatly contributed to the destruction of my family and contributed to several deaths in my family. And so, yeah, it was all part of God's plan to prepare me for where I'm at now and helping other people. God has worked through me to help people from all over the world. It's been probably hundreds of places that I've gone to, hundreds of people, and then factor in the people online that have, come to me for prayer and guidance and support and the phone calls to them. It's been thousands over the last several years. I guarantee you God's worked through me to help thousands of people, and it's just been a huge undertaking, but I'll tell you, there's nothing that I'd rather be doing with my life than helping people to become free from this stuff and then helping people to break the chains and move forward. And that's what my new lecture series is all about now. It's called Breaking the Chains, an evening of healing and restoration with Bill Bean. And, it's all about people coming in. I did one a couple weeks ago in Cape Cod, Massachusetts, and it was amazingly successful. It was at First Baptist Church in Cape Cod, Massachusetts, and it was very powerful, Jason, and people lined up down the aisle when it was over to greet me and to ask for prayer, and it was just an amazing night, and it gave me great joy. So I praise God, and I hope before it's all said and done that I'll be able to cover many parts of the country with this very important message.
Right. Are you currently working on any new books yet, Billy?
Not yet, but I'm sure there'll be something in the not too distant future, I'm sure. But right now I'm just so busy that I don't have time for anything, and I don't have time for one more project like that. But down the road, I'm sure of it. I'm sure of it that there will be something that materializes, and I'll let God guide me in it, because even with the 10 Steps to Victory book, I was very busy then, and I had no intention at that time of writing a third book, but God woke me up on the morning of December 22nd, I think it was, 2012, and he showed me the book title, he showed me, my picture on the cover, and so plainly gave me a message that I had to write that book. And I made that book very small for a reason. The book's only like 50 or 60 pages, but it was for a reason. And I wanted it to be like a manual for people that, you know, you could go back and look at that over and over and over again. And if you're having a bad day or you're going through a rough patch in your life, you'll have the book there that you can go back and look at it and fill your spirit with whatever you need. It's there. It's all there. All the essentials from God and His Word are there in that book to fill anyone's spirit. And whatever they're going through, you read that book, you'll feel better.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I remember the first time I got the book, I like read it, like, you know, cover to cover. You know, I'm like, even I remember the day that you told me that you asked me if I had a Bible and stuff like that, and I did, and I haven't tell you the truth, I haven't opened up that Bible. It would have been almost like 21 years till that day you had me open it up, and I literally tell you there was had all the windows closed in my house. There like cold breeze came through my kitchen, dining room, into the living room, and I'm just like, am I like, did I just like feel like a cold breeze coming through my house? I'm like, it was weird. It was so weird to the point where I'm like, I thought I was like, you know, in a daze. I mean, I never expected to feel cold breeze going through my house, you know. Before I left the house I was in, I literally had, when I was doing my show, I was sitting in my office chair doing the show, and I literally seen a bright white orby thingy that it went from right to left, and it like got like a human kind of form. I just seen like a white, like pure white form to it. You know, I couldn't really tell if it was male or female or anything like that. It was like an outline of a human being.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, I think it was probably one of my guardians, or if you want to call guardian angels or guides or whatever. I think it was probably one of those because
praise God.
Like, I just seen
we
it
always
once.
want them around, and we praise God for them.
Right. I always seen it once or twice, but after that, I haven't seen it since. You know, maybe I don't know what happened or what, but I haven't seen it since then. But every time I go somewhere, I always, if I'm about ready to cross the sidewalk or whatever, and all of a sudden I'll feel like something like, you know, like do like the whole entire like mom thing, and like to hold their kid back in the car if they put on the brakes or whatever. It kind of felt like that when I was like trying to cross the street. And if I'd have crossed the street at that time, I would have got hit by a public bus. I was about ready to cross the street, and I had the walk sign and everything, and all of a sudden, you know, something held me back, and here come a bus coming around the corner really fast.
Wow.
Yeah, it almost hit me. It was so I can't think of the word. I can't think of the word right now. It was mind blowing in a way, to the point where you're going like, yeah, I was like saying, I almost lost my life that day, you know, and it was just like, I just like kind of like shuddered inside, because I was like going like, my heart was like pounding like really really fast, and I was like going like, oh my God.
Well, our God is an awesome God, and He definitely will give us visions and dreams and warnings as well, and He loves us, and He will keep us in His hedge of protection, and He delights when we come back to Him by our choice and we make Him first, because He won't be second for anybody. So we have to, by our choice, make Him first. When we do that, abundant blessings will follow. And
right.
we praise Him forevermore. I mean, that's my whole life. I can never thank Him and praise Him enough for what He's done for me and for what He continues to do.
Yeah, that's for sure, because I'm like, you know, I just feel like since I rebuilt my faith with God, everything's been like changing to the point where it kind of scared me in a way, to the point that it's kind of like, you know, it's like kind of like a new layer being built in a way, or like a new foundation, if you want to call it.
And just think, you know, when we first talked and everything, you were in a bad place. You were in a very bad place in your life. Mm-hmm. And God has just come and He's really blessed you, and I could just tell them, you know, each and every time I talk with you, you're just getting stronger and stronger, and your life is getting better and better, and we praise God for that.
Yeah, since then, you know, I've been, you know, been busy. You know, I mean, I've been helping people the best way I can. I mean, I had some bad cards dealt to me, you know, not too long ago, and you know, I mean, I look at it as a chapter in my life closing and stuff like that, you know. But I don't dwell on the negative stuff anymore. I live in the now, as you know, people live in the now, like live in a positive, you know, atmosphere of life, and you know, not regret for what they do and stuff like that. I mean, I'm not perfect, you know. If I was perfect, I'd be boring, you know.
Nobody's perfect, that's for sure. We all make mistakes. There's not a perfect man that walks this earth, and anybody that says that, they're a liar. You know, we all make mistakes. We try, you know, each and every day I try to be the best that I can be, but I fall short just like everybody else, you know. And God loves us anyway. He loves us in spite of ourselves. And he also delights when we make a mistake that we take it to him and we confess it before him, and he will reward our faith. Again, he'll reward it when we confess it all before him.
Right. It's one of the things where you just spill your guts to God, and then he'll sort it all out, and he'll say to you, you need to prove this, this, and this, and this. You need to get rid of that, you know, in order for you to be the better you, in a manner of speaking. I mean, it's not going to be like it's going to happen overnight. It's not going to be. I know it's like divine intervention in a way, but I mean, it all depends on how you see divine intervention.
Mhm.
You know, a lot of people don't believe in divine intervention. Some people believe in other forms of it. I mean, you know, first time we talked, you know, I was more or less an atheist, and then everything changed, and you know, I think everything happens for a reason, and the things that happen for a reason is good things, or it's like kind of like, you know, if you believe in doing tarot, that people always say that, you know, if you always get the death card, it's not mean that you're going to die. It's like a change in your life. It's going to die in a way, but not literally, but metaphorically. You know, but
no question about it, brother. I mean, and you know, we praise God in all things. That's the bottom line. You know, that is the bottom line. We praise God in all things, and we trust in him, and we know that he'll make a way where there isn't a way. And I couldn't be more thankful and more blessed. You know, people put that title on me, the media, the most haunted man in the world and all that stuff. Well, I call myself the most blessed man in the world because God has, I think, continues to work through me to be a blessing to others.
Right, yeah. I mean, it's kind of uncanny in a way when people, I really don't believe in like why they always call you the most haunted man in America. I mean, I don't know. I don't understand that. But I mean, people who believe in that, it's fine. You know, you might
people look for catchphrases.
Yeah, or you might say like, you know, whatever. It's like you might think, oh yeah, that's me. You know, I'm like, you know, I don't have a catchphrase for me. I'm Jason. You know, I am just me. I'm who I am. You know,
And you're blessed. And that's the way you look at it. You're blessed, and you're blessing.
I try. You know, I do what I can do. You know, I mean, it's kind of like you can't force people to believe. You know, I mean, it's like you gotta wait for it to happen. They go like, oh, this just happened to me, and blah 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 blah. You know, I'm like, you know, is it a good thing or a bad thing? I'm like, kind of like, it can be either way. It depends on how people believe in things and how they live their daily lives. It's like, you know, if you live your life in a negative connotation, you're gonna have all that negative impact, and you know.
That's exactly right, Jason. I mean, and it's so important for people to always try and stay positive. Don't let in the negativity like that, because that's what they feed off of, all the negativity. Right. So it's very important to try and be as positive and upbeat as possible, to not even acknowledge that garbage. I mean, even when it's manifest, you can't be ruled by fear in it, and you just have to either ignore it or just if you're in a position to be strong enough to take power and authority over it by the mighty power of Yahweh in Jesus' name. But we can't give any recognition to this stuff to empower it, because any type of recognition or any type of acknowledgement of fear or submission or, any negativity whatsoever, it feeds these things, and that's how they get stronger.
Right. I also
so we've always got to take the high road.
Right. I was going to always get the question, that since I have these abilities, people always ask me, what do you do to keep yourself sane? For me personally, I would have to say, have a relationship with God, and if you're into any forms like meditation or yoga or whatever, that will literally, calm your mind and body. And, if I didn't have that, to tell you the truth, Billy, I would be in a straitjacket somewhere in a mental hospital, going crazy. Because, I would literally, would revert to my old self back in the day. I would just be like, if that's the case, I'd be, crazy. That's all I get. People always say, what do you do to keep yourself, so strong while you have these abilities? I just tell them, have relationship with God, and have do some form of meditation or yoga. If you, that's the key. You just got to do what you got to do in order to keep yourself functioning.
Well, and that's for me, it's just remaining in faith. And I have a daily routine, and often I don't get to bed before 4, sometimes 5 a.m. in the morning.
Wow.
And that's every night. And so before I go to bed, I don't care how tired I am, I say a spiritual warfare prayer, and then I say a daily victory prayer. And I declare victory in each and every new day, because I lived for so long suffering and being attacked and tormented, for so long in that darkness. And when going through that, I felt very much cursed, and I felt like the black cloud was over my head, and I used to declare, what horrible thing is going to happen today, and guess what? Bad things would happen. So
right.
We literally invoke these things when we make these types of declarations. So now I have reversed that by the power of God, and I declare victory in each and every new day. And my life has been abundantly blessed ever since.
That's a good, motto and how you live your daily life. It all depends. I guess, everybody has their own different types of relationship with God, and some people are, they go to church every Sunday or every Wednesday, or it depends on. I also believe also depends on how you treat people in life, how you want to be treated.
That's exactly right. That is exactly right. I love all people. And I respect everybody. And I try to treat people with decency and kindness and respect. And, again, if we could have that type of mindset, the world suddenly would be better, because people would care. They'd want to go out of their way to be kind to people or do something to help in some way. And
right.
This is what we are really lacking in the world, a lack of decency and kindness and respect for each other as people and children of God and human beings on planet Earth. It's very, very sad.
Right. I also think, people, I think it also depends on how you're raised and, how you treat people. And, if you come from, people who give you the right guidance and stuff like that, you'll do okay. If you come from, people who don't care about you and stuff like that, you kind of go down that path where it's almost, you're on the borderline of, being saved or not, or beyond being saved. It's kind of like a, kind of you're comparing apples and oranges in a way.
Yeah, and it's the enemy is the original liar as well. So he will try and convince people that they're beyond redemption, that they're not worthy to be saved, and they can't be saved. And it's all about wearing the person down to the point to where they give up the will to fight. And once that happens, then the full-blown possession takes place.
Right. That's how, everything leads to maybe like oppression and possession and and feeling that you're feeling that you feel that you're unworthy of love or someone's forgiveness. If you can forgive somebody, you're on the right path to, say, if you're seeking redemption or any forms of salvation or anything that you can think of. It took me a very, very long time to accept help in a way. I'm a type of person who accepts help. I'm too proud for help. If it's like financially or emotionally or physically or whatever, I'm too proud for that kind of help. It was hardwired in my brain because, I was raised to the point where you don't ask for help. I don't know. My upbringing was really strict in a way. So it was like one of those things you just want to scream on top of your lungs, but it's in your head. You want to scream, so bad. You can feel like the tension and anger and all that building up. That was me growing up because I just had all that tension and anger and hatred and malice.
Isn't it great to be free from all of that?
Yeah, tell you the truth, Billy. I feel better than I ever did in almost the 34 years I've been alive today. I just feel that my life changed to to greater good in a way to where I just felt like I try to help the people that I can. I do the best I can to help people, and it might take a toll on me. It might take me time to recover and stuff like that. But just don't write me off yet because I'm if I don't respond, I'm recovering from whatever I had to do, and it was just really weird. Not too long ago, I had a friend who went through a domestic situation, and I literally seen all the bruises that he had on his arms and face and stuff like that, and he couldn't BS to me. I knew there was something wrong. It was in the middle. It was summer. He never wore a jacket in the summer. He had the jacket on, and I'm like, and he was like reaching down to pick something up. I seen this huge black and blue mark on his wrist. I'm like saying, I'm not. I want to see your arms. And here he had like black and blue marks up and down his arms, and I'm like, it was so heart-wrenching seeing a friend go through something like that. It was so heart-wrenching and heartbreaking to the point where I just wanted to say, if you had a humanity switch and you flip that switch and you just want to see red, you want to hurt that person who hurt your friend. I don't believe in hurting anybody. That's not my intention.
No way.
But I could never raise a hand to somebody. If I did that, God will strike me down dead. I would, he probably would do that. He'll probably, or have, a word with me, like, shake me to death or whatever, or whatever you want to call it, or shake the living Jesus out of me and say, like, you need to stop doing that,
And this is, again, where we're transformed, and when we make God first in our life, a transformation does take place over our life, and we want to do good for people. We want to help people, and in whatever way that is, in whatever way God will present the situation, because he will always present a situation, an opportunity for us to be a help to someone.
Right. It's to the point where, I tell everybody, if you want to go read, or if you need someone to talk to, reach out to my good friend Bill Bean. He'll talk to you and help you, sort out everything needs help on, you know, and you know, I'm hoping that I will be able to meet you here in November. You know, me personally, Billy, I mean, when you play first time you meet me, I won't be super chatty. You know, I'm the type of person who would, you know, is observant. I like to watch people interact with other people before I talk, because, you know, I want to just
right.
know.
So you're taking everything in and you analyze before you speak.
Yeah, yes, I do. I am known for analyzing and all that. You know, people might think I'm weird, but I mean that's that's my mechanism in order to figure out, you know, what to say to people. I don't want.
Sure.
You know, it's, you know, people might think, you know, that one way to hurt a person is using your words as a weapon. I don't use my words as a weapon, not intentionally, but if I'm upset, you know, that's when I kind of, you know, get really calm, get really quiet, and really, you know, if you see me getting like really calm and quiet, that's when, you know, I'm probably upset about something or bothered by something, you know, to the point where I don't want to talk about it. You know, I normally don't do that. I mean, it's not healthy in a way, you know, but that's how you know, it's a coping mechanism for me, because I just need to cope. Cause, you know, you know, we've been through, yeah, I mean, we lost parents and stuff like that. Everybody has their own coping mechanism to deal with certain, you know, events in their life.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right.
If you didn't have like a coping mechanism, what would be there to help you cope?
Yes, I agree. I totally agree. And God, you know, guides us in His way, and again, we just can't thank Him and praise Him enough for what He does for us, and the love that He has for us, and the mercy He has for us as well. Right.
Yeah, it's been awesome. I mean, I've been having a lot of, you know, good things happen to me and stuff like that. It's been profound in a way. It's
all part of the journey. It really is.
You know, it was scary, but I was scared and nervous all at the same time. You know, it's to the point where, you know, I wasn't really sure what I was going to do and how I was going to do it. You know, I kind of was very hesitant, and it was weird. It was so weird that I managed to overcome everything in my life, and to shed the negativity and all the anger and all that I had over the years. And to tell you the truth, I'm more in a much calmer, happy place right now, to the point where I think I've learned everything that I can right now. And then into, you know, if you believe in like reincarnation or some other kind of, you know, being like reborn over and over again into like a different person, you know, you pass down like your knowledge or whatever, if you want to call it that, you know. But I'm not sure how many people believe in reincarnation. But I believe in reincarnation. I mean, I believe I was probably, you know, somebody in a past life where, you know, something, you know, happened to me and I don't remember it, but I haven't, you know, ventured into that part of my life.
Yeah, I mean, those things are beyond me, Jason. You know, I always, and I quoted this scripture earlier today, you know, Psalm 145:3, where it says, "Great is the Lord, great let He be praised. His greatness is unsearchable." You know, some things are just beyond us because for whatever reasons, you know, God created us to where we can't use the full capacity of our brain. So we only use a small portion of our brains. And could you imagine, you know, if our brains were operating at full capacity, the things that we would see and hear, you know, the things that would be around us on a daily basis, it would probably drive us insane.
Yeah, I totally believe that. If we're able to fully access our brain, you know, they'll basically know, we'll be like, you know, our brain will be mush, you know, kind of like, you know, like you're like, you know, you'll be like, so your brain will be so overloaded, it'll be.
Yeah, we wouldn't be able to handle it, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. I seen, before I started my show, I seen this movie advertised. It's called Lucy, where like how she can access like 10% of her brain, 30, and all. Once she gets up to like 100% of your access to your brain. I'm like, I think I'd be scared if I got to that amount of access to my brain. I'm like,
You're right, exactly. You know, that kind of stuff, that's too far out for me. You know, I'm very happy being just as I am and letting God take care of the rest. And that's, you know, when we start digging like that, boy, we might not like what we find. And
right.
You know, our brain stores so many things and takes in so many things that we don't even realize it's taken in. You know, there are so many subliminal messages out there in TV commercials and certain movies and certain TV shows, and so the brain takes all that in, and even through certain forms of music, the brain is taking in a suggestive message that we are not even aware of. So again,
right.
Scriptures tell us that we have to guard our minds, and we have to be very, very careful because the enemy tries to infiltrate in any way that he can.
Right. I mean, if you're psychic or whatever, that's one of your most guarded possessions. Is you got to guard your soul, you got to guard your body, you got to guard your mind. You know, if you don't guard that, you know, you're SOL. You know, it's one way of getting slapped in the face by whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly a very difficult thing to say the least when a person comes under that type of obsession or oppression or, you know, eventually possession. And I certainly don't wish it on anybody. It's not a cool thing.
Right.
And, you know, I've had people say to me, oh, that's so cool what you do and all that. No, it's not. It's not a cool, glamorous thing at all. And it's something that has to be a calling, and don't try it at home. Again, you're literally swimming with the sharks when getting involved in these types of things.
Right. You know, I mean, I've seen something jump into somebody, and it wasn't pretty. It wasn't like, you know, sunshine and lollipops and kisses and hugs or anything like that. I mean, I was literally on a ghost hunt, and I literally seen something jump into my co-founder. You know, I mean, you talked to Lorraine. I mean, something like literally jumped into her, and you know, it wasn't funny. It wasn't you know ha 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 and stuff like that. I mean, you know, whatever jumped into her, she looked at me with the most hate and malice and anger. Basically, she told me whatever it was, it wanted to kill me, literally kill me to the point where my heart stopped beating and stuff like that. That's what she told me.
Yeah, that's, again, we never want to be in a position like that, and I certainly never want to see anybody in a position like that. And if we just continue to stay strong in faith and make God first, we'll never be in a position like that.
Right.
Jason, I can't believe it. We're coming up on the end of the show here, and I tell you, before we get too far, I just want to thank you so much for having me, and look forward to coming back again, and I certainly look forward to seeing you when this thing takes place in November. You know, this, I guess it's Cincinnati area, so I'm very much looking forward to it.
Yeah, I can't wait to meet you for sure, because, you know, I mean, I've been waiting for about a year or two?
Probably 2 years, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So God bless you, brother, and anytime you need me, you know I'm there for you.
Yeah, I will definitely give you a call at the show and let you know about the place that you're going to in Cincinnati. Okay,
my brother. Well, God bless you. And I want to thank you for having me again, and I want to thank everybody out there for listening, and for anyone out there who would like to order copies of my books, please visit www.billbean.net, and you can get copies of the books, or if you're in need of prayer or deliverance as well, please contact me from the website. I answer every single message, and I certainly will help. You know, even though I'm busy, I'm never too busy to help somebody. So God bless you, Brother Jason, and I look forward to talking with you and seeing you soon.
Same here, Billy. Can't wait to meet you. You have a good night. I just want to say thank you to my good friend Bill Bean for coming back on my show. He's been a really good friend, and he's helped me so much throughout my personal struggles in my life. Like you said, if you want a copy of his book, you know, go on to www.billbean.net. If you also want to find him on Facebook, go on Facebook and look up under Bill Bean. He's definitely on there. You know, it might take him some time to approve all the requests. And, you know, I mean, you can like his pages. You know, if you have an event, I mean, that you want him to come to, send him an email, and he'll, you know, when it's going to be, he'll definitely get back to you. If it's going to be, it can do. If he can't, you know, I mean, like I said, he's very busy. I'm like, you know, you've got to, you know, be patient. I mean, it might take him a few days because I'm like, you know, but, you know, I don't know who I'm going to have next week, but like I said, at the end of August, I'm having Sharon Needles from RuPaul's Drag Race, winner of season 5. So, you know, she's going to be on the show talking about, you know, music and how she got started doing drag and stuff like that. So once I know who I'm going to be who's going to be on my show for next week, I'm going to be advertising that a couple of days before my show, and I'm going to be taking this poll here in a bit about who would like to see more on my show. So I'm going to take that poll. You know, I'm going to go on to BTM with the radio's website page on Facebook, and you know, and do the poll. I mean, all my listeners will be on there as well. I mean, oh God. So yeah, sorry about that. It's just, yeah, I'm going to do that poll. Hope everybody participates. Just let me know who you want to see. I mean, if you want to see more paranormal peeps, or you want to see more drag queens, or you might want to see more like authors or actors or whatever, I'm going to be doing this poll here once in a bit. So I hope everybody had a good weekend and stuff like that. Yeah, I just wanted to let people know about all this. Just if you just want people to be on the show, just like ask them. You know, I mean, if you want to have one of my previous guests, feel free to ask me, and I'll point you in the right direction. So I hope everybody has a good weekend, and hope everybody has a terrific Monday. So I just want to throw this out here. My birthday's coming up. If anybody wants to, you know, throw out me some birthday wishes and positive vibes and stuff like that, I would love that. If you're here in the Columbus area, if you want to, you know, take me out for a drink or just get to know who I am and stuff like that, feel free. I mean, just send me a message, and I will get right back to you. I promise. It might take me a few hours because, you know, I really can't really answer on Facebook at work, but I just hope everybody has a good time. I mean, have a good weekend. Have a terrific Monday. And I'll see everybody again next Sunday. Have a good night, everybody. This is your host, Jason Beilchick from Beyond the Veil of Darkness. Have a good night.